I mean, there's just too much of a contrast loss on the Samsung S90F to the left versus the Samsung S90D to the right. And ultimately, the winner of this comparison is the Samsung S90D to the right. That's the short and sweet. We did that in under 20 seconds. Smack a like on this video, and let's dive a little bit deeper to explore why we arrived at that verdict. For starters, the S90F in examples like this will just overbrighten everything. Notice the cloud in the middle here and how you're just losing detail versus over here you have all the isolation. The horizon suffers a similar fate as again, it just lacks a lot of the richness where you can make out each individual distinct rock and more unforgivably color, as you're noticing you have a lot more color here than you do right here. And that's due to just the overbrightening issue. I don't know why Samsung believes they need to overbrighten everything for you to feel the impact, but that's sometimes what they do. I think more unforgivably is the lifted shadows. There are a lot of lifted shadows this year, and that ultimately is something I don't personally like. You'll notice more often than not, Samsung is lifting the hell out of your shadows. Now this seems really bright. I will have to turn it down just a hair so you can kind of see it. That's more or less what it looks like for this particular scene. The edge, no matter what you do, is going to be on the S90F, or rather S90D, because the S90F is just overly bright. I don't know if you can see the contrast in those trees, or the blue in that creek, or the vibrancy of the color in the grass. Even though it's not going to be a one-to-one, I hope you can see it. These differences are not lying to you, and this is post-adjustment. Yes, the S90F is brighter. I mean, take this scene, for example. I'll go ahead and put it to where it's like true to life, which I think is right about there, okay? You have detail on both TVs. They look great. Fantastic, okay. But the S90F is just way too bright. Now, again, I'll show you where the S90F came from. I mean, it'd be rude not to, right? The S90F originally looked like this. So it's just a flat mess versus this. It's definitely in an entirely different type of television now, and that's movie mode. You go to standard, more of the same. It's just way overly brightened, and you miss a lot of your detail. Now, Samsung likes to do nasty little tricks like adding contrast enhancer to really fake and faux and clip your highlights to make you think your TV's brighter. But when you turn all that crap off and you get down to adjusting to get the detail back and the color back, this is what it looks like. From that trash, even dynamic, to that trash, your image looks better when it looks like that. You see more detail. So it has been optimized. You can go to movie mode, which is a more accurate mode. Versus that, we can go to filmmaker mode, which looks like that, versus this, okay? There's no doubt the work has been put in. However, it's just not as capable of retaining the color, the detail that we're supposed to have. It's just lifting shadows. And I mean a fuck ton. You are not going to see the black levels, by the way, here. They're going to look crushed on camera. That's just what cameras do. But take that difference in contrast in a scene like this in the clouds and in the water. All of this, the flat, hazy look, all of that plays a role. And ultimately speaking, the color loss in the sky now here versus here. I mean, the contrast, the darkness versus the faded look. You can go scene by scene by scene, and you can still find that the S90D presents the vastly better picture for less money by hundreds of dollars, to the point where it's like, I don't know how people are doing this to themselves. I don't know how people could possibly be like, you know what, I want to get me one of those Samsung S90F TVs because, you know what, it's just such a great experience. Because it's not. I mean, take this example, okay? When we look, we can see all of the light hitting those little bluffs and mountains and things like that in the background, and you can see all the color and everything. You can see the richness of the horizon, shoreline. Here it's just overly bright and hazy. That's just one example. Go to, let's say, the next example, and you'll soon find that, again, it's really bright, but it loses out in color. And we're going to keep replaying that as a theme here, because that's what it boils down to. More color to the right, less color to the left. And it's all for the sake of brightness. This year, Samsung is touting around AI as the latest and greatest must-have bullshit on the list of things. I'll lower the ISO so maybe you can see it a little bit better. Pause right here. I mean, where is Samsung's head at? You have such a massive amount of color loss for the sake of brightness. And when I say color loss, I really just mean the way that you had more visible color. Because if you look, this is a darker shade that gradates to a lighter shade. This is all just light because it got too bright. And this looks really dark and rich. All of this looks really dark and rich. Again, I will do the pixel structure test, but it is something that bugs me that we are running into this problem, because we shouldn't be running into a problem like this on a TV of this price and of this tier, but here we are, right? I mean, I think you guys can see it quite clearly. There's just too much overbrightening. I mean, that's, if I had to play something, the brightness at times feels good. You can have good impact, but it takes away from your detail. And then the detail itself, contrast-wise, doesn't feel incredibly sharp. It feels weaker than last year's processing. And it just feels like, what did you pay for, really? Because once the S90D is going to be phased out, because every year they discontinue these TVs and make them harder and harder to find, you're not gonna have a TV that hits as strong as the S90D for color, and instead brightness is gonna be your only big takeaway, which most people, I'll be very real with you, aren't gonna look at an S90F and be like, oh, it's an ugly TV, it's such a piece of trash. But also, most people don't realize what they're losing, the richness of the color that you had last year. Again, this was a TV that was closer to the S90B, S95B for those who remember. The color quality is just there. The richness, the depth is there, and it surpassed the S90B in a lot of ways. This is performing like an S90C. If I remember, and you guys remember, 2022, I think? I'm probably getting that wrong. But you guys know what I mean. It's a couple years dated looking, and you can see it. The color isn't as rich. Look at the squirrel. Look at his arms. Look at this. Now, here we go, to be fair. Okay, this is what it performed like out of the box before my settings. It looked like this, okay? I don't know who the hell would watch that image. It also looked like this for movie mode if you want it more accurate. If you wanted the most accurate in filmmaker mode, it looked like that. That's a flat, very blue, very washed out image that has nothing to offer anyone. And every single mode in the TV would look blue and washed out without anything to offer anyone. This is what they do, okay? A lot of people thinking that they're gonna be safe just because they put it in something like filmmaker mode. Let's put it in filmmaker mode. And you ask me, do you really think that the Samsung S90F is gonna be able to compete? I mean, it's gonna look like crap. Oh, I know. I'm messing with the settings and doing things to make it look bad. Okay, let's play that game. We can open up the settings and go all the way down to the bottom and hit reset, and it's still gonna look every bit as bad. In fact, it actually looks worse because it took away my brightness adjustments that I added to make it look better. But I mean, there you go. That's what it'll look like. That's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get a dead looking squirrel. Let's go to another picture mode. Let's go to freaking movie mode, right? And let's go ahead and do the same thing in movie mode. Go all the way down to the bottom, and let's hit reset. And that's what it looks like, the exact same. I mean, you could do this with every single mode. And that's where it's a joke. And that's where I took it. So you don't have to deal with a joke of a picture. You can actually deal with something that looks better. So the work, again, has truly been done to this TV. It's just, it doesn't have as much as that's offering. And a lot of people are going to have their opinions about this and what they're seeing. But I mean, it's clear. Look at how three-dimensional it looks right now. Now, again, I love the red right now on the S90D. It's really capturing my eye. The S90F, again, in this example, just more faded, less detail in the clocks and intricacies of the gears. It does have slightly better yellow, though, in this particular example to the left, where I don't feel it's as strong to the right. So yellow has a slight improvement, which I do like. But the primary colors are weaker. I noticed that for that, it looked a little bit better. Brightness is a benefit, though, as you see in this example. It's a bit brighter, not a whole lot than that. It's also important to note that, again, when you talk about these two TVs, I mean, there is a price difference, too. Are you really seeing hundreds more? Not a few bucks here and there, like 50 bucks, $100. No, hundreds, damn near $1,000 more of a difference. I mean, the image to the right is last year's model. That is last year's model, okay? And this year's model has like gray skies and it's brighter, yay. But where's the detail? Where's the color purity? Where it's just so pure. And so look at that light bar right there. on that crane or whatever the hell it is so rich. Where over here, it just looks faded by comparison. I don't know who told Samsung to do this to their TVs, but that person needs to be fired like yesterday morning. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some benefits, like now. And even still, with there being benefits, like you see a lot more detail, which is great. That's still brighter, if you notice. That's significantly brighter. I mean, both are maxed out, but after adjustments, that's brighter. Now, again, for the hecklers, because you know they're coming, and you know they're going to cry like they do about every little thing, your options are simple. You go to movie mode. You could go to standard mode. You could go to dynamic mode. I mean, what mode do you think it looks best in? Where do you think it has a filmmaker mode? Where do you think it has its best fighting chance? Do we want to watch a filmmaker mode? Is this what we want? Is this what's hot out here in the streets? I mean, it doesn't look very good to me. So you're clearly seeing with this comparison what I'm talking about. If it were to be in the default mode, it would look like crap and literally nobody would want to buy it. So put my settings back in, okay? And quite honest to goodness, I mean, with this video, we might as well just round it off by saying this. The Samsung S90F to the left just fails to produce the kind of picture quality that we have all come to expect out of a QD-OLED. It lacks the depth because it raises the shadows too much, and the colors, quite frankly, aren't tremendously good. So if you're missing shadow detail or the rich inky deep black levels that you should have in most examples, and you're missing the, just purity of color, I don't see how anyone could pick the S90D over the S90F, or rather the S90F over the S90D. And that is how I arrived at the verdict that the S90D is my winner. It does not look like last year's TV. And even though it's a similar type of technology, they could have done something contrast-wise to make the S90F stand out a bit more, I feel, especially with the talks of AI. So even though it's exciting and you see it on paper in those market advertisements on Amazon or wherever you buy it in the product description, it is very clear that AI is nothing more than a gimmick. It will always be a gimmick, and you are basically getting hustled because the clarity details to the right on last year's model for less money make the most sense. Look at this bird. Look at the colors. I mean, come on. The colors are not just a little better. They're vastly better. And this is just such a dramatic difference. And again, to be dramatic, they wanted you to start off from a position where your shit looked like this. This is the kind of bird they would have given you. Like this, or like this. Filmmaker mode, the best they could do, this is what you would have gotten. This is their best. This is what the experts could give you. All the talks of AI, this is what it would have looked like. Who the hell wants to look at a bird that looks like that? That's not realistic. Birds aren't freaking chalky and ugly like that. Like, they're playing games. And I give you the settings, and even though I made it look a lot better, it's not going to beat last year's model, and really, that's all there really is to it. So I hope when you watch this video, it finds you guys well. I appreciate all you guys. Let me know what you think about this in the comments down below and where Samsung is headed after this. Thanks so much for watching the #1 brand in honesty. And until the next video, I'll see you guys later.